Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the priority section of the Delhi-Ghaziabad-Meerut rapid rail transit system corridor at Sahibabad. Dr. Bhattacharya, it's not going to end over here. The Gati Shakti 2.0, the fact that the government wants the common man to have facilities of transportation which are available in Europe or the Western nations at this point in time, is not only going to be beneficial for the common man, but it also is indicative of how fast an economy can grow.
Absolutely, and economy grows on the back of technology. Now, if you look at the technology which existed till let's say 2015, 2016, that was, if I can say, fit for transporting cattle. Under the excuse of not having enough resources, we had very poor technology. Our people used to, travel at slow speed, at very high discomfort. Now, all of that is changing. If we are adopting a semi-high-speed rail set, which is the RRTS, I think along with Vande Bharat, these are two train sets which are going to revolutionize how we transport people within India. And, there's a second more significant train set that is being adopted, which is a significant technology change that's happening. Also, keep in mind that we are now moving towards enhanced electrification of transportation. This entire train set is working on electricity. So we don't need to actually move into, that many electric vehicles in that sense. We can remove IC engines, therefore reduce pollution and move towards a greater electrification. Also, one must appreciate the economic impact area that it's going to have. In this entire stretch, the real estate prices will go up. It'll be easier for people to commute and work in these areas, which was not the case earlier. That 17-kilometer stretch that's being talked about, this train is going to complete it and cover that distance in about 15 to 20 minutes. That same distance takes about an hour right now, if not more. If you look at, let's say, the travel from South Delhi to Gurgaon, that's also a 20-kilometer stretch.
And Mr. Bhattacharya, it's also likely to reduce the use of private vehicles to the tune of 1 lakh.
Absolutely, and that has significant impact on the pollution, on what the Delhiites suffer during winters. All of that will get mitigated with this kind of a technology. And I think along with it, we also need to improve on the processes around such a enhancement of technology. And processes means how will the cabs come and do the evacuation of people from the stations, what are the pod-based transportation that we need to have. It should not be a repeat of the metros that we used to have earlier on, where the metros would stop, but there would be no transportation from the metros to wherever the last mile would finish. So I think those are issues that needs to be looked at, and obviously it's an evolutionary process. Also, the actual construction of this project started in 2019. Before that, there was a lot of to and fro going on in planning. So within 14 years, we have been able to come up with this, this stretch of modern railway. And as has been projected, by 2025, the entire stretch between Delhi and Meerut will be covered. So within a period of about 6 years, we'll be completing the first of its kind, 100-kilometer stretch or 85-kilometer stretch. That's quite significant. There are also parallel initiatives going on in other stretches. So it's not that we are going to wait till 2025 before other stretches are unleashed on India. So it's a very major, significant step that has been taken.
The concept is also about achieving zero energy. Net zero energy, which in fact is a concept that the Prime Minister has mentioned. He's been very, very passionate about it. And do you think that it's the revolution that he had envisaged, and this in a way is signaling the beginning of that revolution?
Absolutely, yes. Again, once the transportation is electrified, now the next challenge to ensure is that electricity is green electricity. Fortunately, India has been in the forefront, and in fact, we are one of the very few large economies which has actually been adhering to our global commitments for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and moving towards a greener economy. And we have been adopting green energy at a very, very fast pace. By 2030, about 300 gigawatts of green energy will be produced. And that's what's going to drive transportation in India, both trains as well as electric vehicles. So clearly, we are on a path to become greener as we move forward. This also includes the train stations. The train stations are also a major guzzler of energy. So we are seeing very rapid movement towards adoption of solar for many of the train stations. In fact, the train stations themselves are getting covered by solar cells, and they are generating energy for the train station. So we are moving towards an era where we are kind of going to get almost free, clean energy. And why I'm saying free is because the solar cells will get depreciated over a period of time. And therefore, there will be a zero cost to the solar cells, and they'll simply be producing energy. And that's going to lead us to almost a utopian situation. And that's going to also help us in becoming a far more efficient economy, because the cost of transportation will go down if the cost of electricity and cost of energy comes down. So these are multiple reverberating effects that's going to happen. Obviously, as one of the panelists said, it's a small beginning of only 17 kilometers, but that's going to rapidly change. These are called demonstration effects. If you look at, as an example, how China became extremely urbanized, they started by taking a small 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer area in Beijing and transformed it into something very, very modern. And that was then replicated across all the cities in China. So one has to start with a demonstration effect, has to build the capabilities within both the railways as well as the society. People have to realign their transportation requirements around this new wave of transportation technologies which is being rolled out. And these things take time. And in spite of the fact that it's a complex process, we have still been able to execute this quite rapidly. And Indians have been very, very fast in the uptake of technology. So these are all very, very positive movements, including with the question that you started with, which is, will we have green transportation? I think this RRTS will be a basis for the local transportation or the regional transportation.
And Mr. Bhattacharya, just a passing thought. Do you think this is also going to be an opportunity for the common man, to participate in the green revolution? So far, people who want to contribute or reduce their carbon footprints, are the affluent class, who are able to, in fact, invest in green energy, buy cars that run on batteries. This is an opportunity for the common man. So this is perhaps also giving everyone an equal keel, so to speak.
That's a very important point you pointed out. Solar panels on top of your roof cost at least 1.5 to 2 lakhs. A electric vehicle costs double the cost of a regular IC engine vehicle. Here is where you still pay 20 rupees, 40 rupees as fare and be able to contribute to reduction in greenhouse gas effects as well as in overall using clean green energy. So I think that's a very important point that you pointed, and it does create adoption of green energy as a mass movement. So people can now actively opt for it and take this. And on top of it, it's a very comfortable transportation. We are democratizing comfortable transportation, which was not the case earlier. I mean, if we go to the same stretch right now, there are dirty buses which is overfilled with people, and it's a very unhygienic way of transporting people. All of that is going to change with this means of transportation coming in.